Come here. Yeah, well, it's bananas out here. Here we are at the debate at Hostra University, and we got our credentials. We're going in. You know, this is like a government event, you know what I'm saying? Heavy security. So that's how it goes down. And I see a lot of other reporters out here. They're getting their thing on, but it's definitely a little circus. And hopefully we go ahead and get in, and
Okay.
that'll be it.
Yeah, 0.
Back again, about to get it. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he did pretty good as an entertainer. Ronald Reagan, no, not so great. Why should we vote for Dixon again?
We have a choice between a very corrupt governor and an honest woman. That's the bottom line. We're not electing somebody in charge of national security. You know, we're electing a governor. She's a smart woman. She'll learn the job very quickly. And, you know, I'm very bothered that Cuomo got rid of his own Moorland Commission, fired them when they started investigating him and his friends.
With Kathleen Rice, who's now a congresswoman.
You know, like I was saying, you know, he destroyed Mayor de Blasio's #1 campaign promise. When you destroy people's votes, that's a dictatorship. That's the worst thing that anyone can do. He knew that, you know, de Blasio won that race by 73%, got 73% of the votes. He knew what his #1 promise was, and he deliberately destroyed it. He could have made it statewide and made the rich people pay. When you got somebody like Bloomberg that got paid $6 million every single day for 12 years, that's the average a day. $250,000 an hour, day and night. That's what Bernie Sanders was talking about. I supported Bernie.
Okay, who said that? You voting for Cuomo? You voting for Cuomo? Okay, why you guys are union guys. You guys are out here obviously from CSCA, building trade. Oh, okay. So did Cuomo get you guys back to work before, you know, when he got elected?
Cuomo's got a lot of work going for us. Yep. LaGuardia Airport for one. Yep.
Doing Kennedy Airport.
Kennedy.
Building another air train to LaGuardia. He's created a lot of work for union building trades.
So what do you think about this debate here? I mean, what do you think about Dixon? Because we're basically coming from the perspective of entertainers and going into the political field. You see what a disaster has been with the president.
Well, you know, it's disaster. Everybody's got their own opinion on it, you know. It's what you feel. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. We're going for somebody that helps. I mean, this supports our living. You know, you go through periods where there's half the locals members are out of work because it's slow. This man has created tons of work for New York, and he does it all union building trades. You know, do you want somebody in the city, you know, I mean, she's against unions, and she was a union member, you know? And now, I mean, you go into the city, do you want somebody building the biggest city in the world making $10 an hour? You know, and not qualified to do it? Where
She's got
they're
the-
qualified? Do you really want that?
She's got the nerve to talk about how we're the. Can you? we're the issue. We're the reason why the MTA is in turmoil. We have nothing to do with the MTA. We don't have anything to do with that. People have no idea what goes on underneath the streets of New York City. How are you going to build it?
How are you going to say that? I'm a street reporter. I know what you guys go through. I'm always filming the rat and blowing the horn and filming. Now, look, so and I'll tell you, okay, bias, but anyway, you've seen the rat, but when Cuomo in office, you don't see the rat. Now, when you do see the rat, it's because people are, hiring unskilled labor. Okay, that's what I've seen it.
But that's not on public works jobs. That's not jobs that Cuomo has his stamp on. You know, we got what, $7 billion worth of work at LaGuardia Airport. That whole entire airport is going to be brand new from.
So it's your fault that I gotta wait in traffic like 4 hours?
No.
Take this mic.
Once it's done, you won't be waiting.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it looks good. I've seen some of the stuff, but you know.
Let's take East Side Access. That's one one job that Cynthia Nixon's talked a lot of garbage about. You know, and it's not our fault. She's saying it's way too overstaffed. What does she know about staffing levels on construction sites? What does she know about how there's a certain amount of people on a job to keep everybody safe, you know? You can't have 1 or 2 guys doing one job when it should have 3 or 4 guys doing a job. It's not overstaffed. Most of the trades are understaffed on a job. There's not enough people on a job to do the job. What else is she talking about? That job is 150 feet underneath Grand Central Station. What does she know about what goes on under there? How does she have the nerve to say that, you know, we're the issue, we're the problem that the MTA...
She did Sex in the City, man, for a couple of seasons. You telling me she's not qualified?
About the city. I don't have much to say, but from what I understand, she's talked a lot of garbage about the construction trades.
Bricklayers Local 1. Bricklayers Local 1.
And then why are you guys out here supporting Dixon?
No, we're supporting the union so we can have a better livelihood. You know what I mean?
I hear that she has not supported the union, but she used to be a part of the union.
Well, then that's the situation that she has to deal with. You know, I don't know why she wouldn't want to better herself or her co-workers and, you know, her family by supporting the union.
Are you guys going to be recruiting anytime soon to get more people in there? Because I know people are retiring a lot. You know, what's good? What's up with getting some young blood in the union?
I think all the trades are looking for younger workers, because as the workforce get older, you know, you got to have people to replace you. That's what makes it strong. Yeah.
So what would y'all tell our viewers out here? What are you here for today?
We're here to support the union. For you know, you get kind of close to that. To support the union, man, you know, for a better livelihood.
All right. Come on, let's. Hi, once again, African American News. I'm Andreas 13. Here we are. Finally, we get a chance to meet your county executive. What did you think about the debate? I know you can't take sides, but what did you think about the issues that were brought up?
I thought it was a very serious and spirited debate. I'm always happy when issues of economic development and infrastructure come up, because to grow the tax base and to create our really vibrant, walkable downtowns that we need here in Nassau County, we need strong infrastructure, we need dollars going to public transportation, and we need to support our Long Island Railroad and our bus system as much as possible.
The hub you're talking about. Now, I know traditionally you can't take sides in a debate. No elected officials can take sides in a debate. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you, it doesn't concern you as a local Nassau County legislator, but a lot of people are talking about the SALT, the state taxes on education. Now, what are the things that you would like to see done on that level to alleviate Nassau County's high school tax on their tax? That's what I was asked by my Mr. Libby and my student intern, Carson.
So you had good people preparing you.
Yes.
Our school taxes are incredibly high here on Long Island. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in. We have 56 independent school districts, and your tax bill is very high. Property tax bill is very high, and anywhere from 66 to 75% of your tax bill goes to the public schools. So when we have now the state and local deductions, state and local taxes, you can't deduct them anymore from your taxes now, thanks to Donald Trump. That's going to make our taxes be even higher, and that's something I'm incredibly concerned about.
Okay, and I won't get into. Lastly, today Newsday had a great article about the schools getting grants from the state to combat gang violence. Did you see that article today? Tell us how you feel about that article.
So tragically, right before here, we had a press conference. There was another body, a young person's body, that was found butchered, they think police by MS-13. So when I was very happy to read the news that the governor is supporting funding for after-school programs, for job training, for placement programs, to help give kids some alternative to joining a gang.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
We have Suffolk County Executive, Mr. Ballone, and Newsday put a big article in the paper today regarding the state giving a lot of money to school districts who are impacted by the incidences of gang activity here in Long Island. You guys have been at the forefront well before Donald Trump came down, well before the task force came down. What were the the buzzwords or the red lights and that went off in you guys to make you start that initiative well before everybody else?
Look, when MS-13 reared its ugly head here and the brutal murders of Nisa Mickens and Kayla Cuevas, devastating the community, we responded in the right way with law enforcement, protecting the community, working with the community. But we also understood, and this is something the governor understood intuitively, and that is that if you're going to solve this problem, it's not just a law enforcement response, although that is critically important to ensure public safety, but you also have to provide the resources and the sort of gang prevention programs that will provide a community of support around vulnerable children, because those are the ones who are being recruited by what is a criminal organization. And so we have to utilize law enforcement, but we also have to, as the governor has done, provide the resources to support those vulnerable kids.
Well, you guys, you out there, you heard it first right here. It's been a very unique quality about your administration to respond so quickly. Before you were Suffolk County executive, your previous tenure, was that any way helping you to be able to make these type of far-reaching advances when you became the county executive?
Well, I'll tell you, experience does matter. I was Babylon Town Supervisor before becoming county executive. So, that 10 years of executive experience in one of the largest towns in the state of New York really set the table for me to take over the largest county in the state of New York, 1.5 million people. And I think it's certainly one of the contrasts we saw tonight in the debate, with the governor really demonstrating his incredible experience. That's important when you're running one of the largest governments in the world versus somebody who's a wonderful actress but really hasn't run anything of any size. And that really matters.
Well, that's being very kind to the sister. I'm the one that's on TV. I can crack jokes. Now, I'm going to let you know that I've been watching you, and I never really got a chance to get all the way to you, but I'm going to tell you how close I've been watching you. Now, you started the race, and you were a little bit out of shape before you started the Suffolk County race. Now you're always in good shape. Let's talk about the race and tell the truth. Is the race really right? You kept in shape because you ran the first year. You ran. I've been watching you.
That's exactly right. And, I got to tell you, my big problem is I like to eat. I got to be honest.
Okay.
And not the kind of food that keeps the calories off. I like good food. And so the race and running and creating the Suffolk County Marathon was a way for me to lose weight and keep the weight off. And by the way, when we decided to start the marathon, we said we need to do something around it, and we decided we're going to raise money for veterans. And that's what we've done. We raised nearly $500,000 for veterans since we started.
I'll tell you what I said to you as I was talking to you through the TV with the race. You're not going to get me to halfway kill myself for an interview running, okay? So we'll catch you
into the marathon at any point. It's coming up. Right. It's coming up soon.
Thanks a lot.
It's great to see you.
You seem to have survived so many administrations, so many different, the recession, the economy. This debate today, how does it play out in your mind?
Well, it was one, I thought, hands down, the governor prevailed, and I thought won the debate. He clearly appeared to look gubernatorial and sounded gubernatorial. Miss Nixon, I thought, she didn't do bad, but I think she missed a lot of opportunities. Especially, she didn't talk much about the economy. She didn't mention the suburbs. She didn't talk about Long Island at all, where we are. So I was sort of disappointed there. But all in all, I don't think there were any significant punches thrown or errors made by either candidate.
Okay. Now, what do you think about people are all upset about still school taxes being a part of the levy on the tax rolls here in Long Island, where it's different upstate? Do you feel that they should have brought this type of issue up? Because a lot of people are concerned that some of the issues that they're really facing today are not being addressed. However, Cuomo did address the high taxes that Trump, his tax plan, has placed on New Yorkers. in particular Long Island?
Yeah, a longer, better, more detailed discussion on the way we finance education probably would have been more interesting for the crowd. But I guess in an hour you can't get everything done. I think the governor's right to be challenging the president with his tax policies because they're going to have significant negative impacts in New York State, and that means it's going to have negative impacts for education.
Thank you. Do you believe that this debate, how would this debate on a state level impact what you do with your nonprofit?
The governor I've known for 35 years, so we're good friends, and I know his background at HUD. But let me talk.
I'm not going to hold that against him.
No, he did a great job at HUD. Okay. But I didn't want to talk to you about that.
Okay.
I wanted to talk to you about what?
Legalizing
marijuana.
Why we should legalize.
And I've been saying for the past 10 years at meetings that I've gone to with folks that people get arrested and put in prison for the marijuana that I get delivered to my front door. Because of the color of my skin, I get to smoke marijuana. Now, I have a question. If people lie in politics today, and they lie about not smoking or smoking marijuana, and they're a white person in public office, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm going to answer my question. It's a bad thing, because if people don't stand up and admit that they do this and that they're in public office when they're doing it, like, I don't know who.
Well, Bill Clinton smoked when he was governor of Arkansas.
So there you go. And so let's come home a little closer to New York City. My point is that people ought to stand up and say that they do it and that it should be legalized, and that if people abuse it, there should be treatment for it. But the last thing in the world that anybody should do, red, white, or purple, is to be put in prison for smoking marijuana.
Well, what about she raised Nixon raised a good point about people who are convicted, who have been past convicted, should be released.
Well, but that's what I do.
They should be released from prison.
But we provide opportunity for people who are coming home homeless on parole from prison. There are 4,000 folks who come home from state parole, from state prison, on parole every year, homeless, to the New York City shelter system. So we give them an opportunity to work, first of all, for $13 an hour, January 1st for $15 an hour. But they've all got conviction histories that prohibit them from participating in the economic system that everybody else who wasn't arrested for smoking marijuana, right, prospers from.
Don't you just love America?
I do love America. I do love America. But one of the things that I love the best is that we can stand here and talk about this and tell the truth. And you actually can then go disseminate that to other people. And the truth will find a way. And you and I won't be in prison for saying it.
The main thing I saw with the debate that was problematic is that there was no real questions about the control of government and who's paying for this stuff. They seem to have an idea that everyone should just keep paying more in taxes, and they don't have an idea of where the money's going to come from. They push back on a lot of it. That, you know, even when I liked the one point when Cuomo came up to Nixon and said, do you want to eliminate your corporation and pay the taxes as an individual versus the corporation? And she didn't want to do that because she was saying, well, I'm a small business person. But a lot of people can't do that because there's not enough money to come back in there to pay the additional accounting fees and taxes and other stuff like that. So usually most people don't have that benefit. The other thing is that no one came up with the idea of the $14 billion that the New York State taxpayers are going to have to pay on additional SALT taxes, which is state and local taxes, because all of them just want to raise our taxes, raise the other one. And most people think that, you know, when they call it property taxes, it's really property rent, because you don't own your property. You basically only rent out your property, and if you don't pay your taxes in 2 years, the county government will sell your property to someone else who will buy it at a discount. And what they do is originally, I guess, they have it where they come in and they charge you something like 26% interest rate, with penalties and everything else, which is usury, and you're not allowed to do that. So, I mean, I liked some of the ideas that they were coming up with. I think the ideas, I mean, I personally, they want to legalize marijuana. That's nice, but I don't know anybody who's going to want to buy marijuana from a government and have their name signed into it later on, and then later on they're going to have that investigative ability to come after you and say, aha, you smoke pot, you can't do this, you can't do that, come back in there. And that's the big thing that is coming back in there. So, I mean, most people, in my opinion, will go still buy it on the black market so that they don't have the government finding out you're getting it. So, anything else?